Most gardeners have experienced this moment. You walk into the garden, everything looks fine. Then you notice movement on a leaf, a tiny insect, then another, then several more. And almost instantly, the same thought appears. I need to get rid of these. It's a completely natural reaction. After all, insects damage plants, right? But what if some of those insects are the reason the plant survived in the first place? What if the creatures you rush to remove are already working on the problem you're trying to solve? Because one of the strangest truths in gardening is this: the insect wasn't the problem. It was the solution. But before you can recognize the helpers, you have to understand why so many gardeners mistake them for enemies. Most gardeners don't make mistakes because they ignore pests. They make mistakes because they identify the wrong enemy. A strange insect appears. It looks threatening. It looks out of place. It looks like trouble. So it gets removed. But nature loves disguises. And some of the most valuable insects in the garden look exactly like the ones people fear. That's why gardeners sometimes do something surprising. They eliminate the predator and leave the pest behind. Because your garden may already have a pest control team. The problem is, most people don't recognize the uniforms. So what exactly are these hidden workers doing behind the scenes? Let's start with one of the biggest cases of mistaken identity in the garden: the insect people kill by accident. Most gardeners recognize adult lady beetles immediately. Bright colors, distinctive spots, easy to recognize. But the surprising part of the story isn't the adult, it's the larva. Because if you've never seen one before, it looks nothing like a lady beetle. Dark, elongated, almost alien. The kind of insect many people remove immediately. And yet, these strange-looking larvae are among the most effective aphid hunters in the garden. A single larva can consume enormous numbers of soft-bodied pests before becoming an adult, which creates one of the great cases of mistaken identity in gardening. The insect people protect is helpful. The insect people accidentally kill is helpful too. And lady beetles aren't the only beneficial insects hiding behind a surprising disguise. Then there's lacewing, the delicate hunter. Adult lacewings look almost fragile. Soft green bodies, transparent wings. The kind of insect that seems too gentle to be important. But their larvae tell a completely different story. These tiny predators are often called aphid lions. And once you see them hunting, the nickname makes perfect sense. They move through colonies of pests with remarkable efficiency. It's one of nature's most surprising contrasts. One of the most delicate-looking insects in the garden produces one of the most aggressive pest hunters. And most gardeners never realize they're connected. But some beneficial insects take that double life even further. Now imagine standing beside a flowering vegetable bed on a warm afternoon. Tiny insects hover between the blooms. At first glance, they look like small bees. But look closer. Many are hoverflies, the garden's double agents. As adults, they help pollinate flowers. But the real surprise comes later, because their larvae feed on aphids and other soft-bodied pests, which means that harmless little fly drifting around your garden today may be raising the next generation of pest hunters on your plants. And suddenly, what looked like a visitor becomes part of the protection system. Yet some of the most valuable helpers are so easy to miss that you may never notice them at all. Some of the most important helpers are so small that gardeners rarely notice them at all. The invisible specialists. At this point, you might notice a strange pattern. The insects gardeners fear most often aren't the pests, they're the predators. That creates a second peek in the story. Because once you stop assuming every unfamiliar insect is the enemy, you start seeing how much hidden work is happening all around you. The garden isn't just being attacked, it's being defended, quietly, constantly, by insects most people never notice. Parasitic wasps. The word wasp tends to create a certain image: large, aggressive, unwelcome. But many beneficial wasps are tiny, sometimes almost too small to see. They spend their lives searching for specific pests, quietly, precisely, without attracting attention. And that's what makes them so fascinating. Some of the most important pest control workers in your garden are operating completely unnoticed, doing their jobs while most people never realize they're there. But hidden hunters aren't limited to the leaves and stems above ground. But not every hunter lives on the plants. Some patrol below. Meet the night shift, ground beetles. During the day, many remain hidden, under mulch, beneath leaves, inside cracks and protected spaces. Then darkness arrives, and the patrol begins. Ground beetles move across the soil surface, hunting insects, larvae, and other garden pests. Most gardeners never see this happening. They're asleep, but the garden isn't. The night shift is working, and often helping reduce problems long before they become visible. And if ground beetles own the night, another predator has mastered patience. The spiders. Perhaps the most misunderstood predators in the entire garden. The web builders, the ambush hunters, the silent observers. Many people see a spider web and immediately think it should be removed. It looks messy, out of place, untidy. But from another perspective, that web is evidence that something important is happening. A predator has chosen your garden as a hunting ground, and every insect caught in that web is one less insect moving through the system. Sometimes a spider web isn't clutter. Sometimes it's pest control. And surprisingly, the list of helpers doesn't end with insects and spiders. And some of the best helpers don't have 6 legs at all. Think about a quiet evening in the garden. Birds moving between branches. A toad sitting near the edge of a bed. Neither seems particularly important, until you realize how many insects they consume over time. Toads help control insects and even slugs. Birds constantly search for food throughout the garden, and together, they become part of the same hidden system, which leads to another fascinating realization. Some of the most effective pest control in your garden may not even be insects. But knowing these helpers exist is only useful if we avoid driving them away. So if sprays can weaken the system, how do you strengthen it instead? So how do healthy gardens support these helpers? Often through surprisingly simple choices. Flowering plants provide food for beneficial insects. Diverse plantings create habitat. Reduced spraying allows populations to establish themselves. Small protected spaces give predators places to live. Birds and toads help too. And perhaps, most importantly, healthy gardens avoid declaring war on every insect they see. Because observation often solves problems that panic creates. But there's one important detail every gardener should remember before putting away the magnifying glass. One final warning. Not every beneficial insect looks friendly. And not every harmful insect looks dangerous. Some beneficial species have close lookalikes. Some larvae look completely different from the adults they become. Which is why one of the most valuable gardening skills isn't reacting quickly. It's identifying correctly. Sometimes the insect you almost removed was helping all along. And that brings us to the biggest lesson hidden inside every healthy garden. Because in the end, a healthy garden is not insect-free. In fact, the opposite is often true. The healthiest gardens are full of life. Predators, pollinators, hunters, helpers. Relationships layered on top of relationships. The real question was, never, how do I remove every bug? It's, which ones are already working for me? So the next time you find a strange insect on a leaf, you stop seeing insects as a problem, because the creature you're about to remove might already be working for you.